To all the pupils and parents and carers at Buxton School, I would like to wish you all a warm welcome back to our autumn term. My name is Mrs. Bowers Broadbent, and I am the acting executive head teacher at Buxton School. You will have in front of you a clip of some of the things that we have been really working hard on to ensure that the environment is a safe one for pupils to return to for this academic year. You would have seen from public health guidance that schools have had to stagger their start time. So you would have received lots of information about the times in which your children should be arriving to school and the times in which they will finish school through the letters that you have received. We have also been thinking about the environment and how we can make that as safe as possible for our children. You will see when your children will see when they arrive that the corridors are labelled, and they will guide children to make sure that they keep their 2 meters distance from each other as far as possible. There are sanitising stations around the school so that children are able to sanitise their hands on entry into the building, as they move around the building, and when they leave the building. The toilets in the school have been organised so that no child will mix. We know that through the guidance that there are bubbles that children should be put into, and a bubble means that in primary, children will be kept in their classrooms, and most of what they do through the school day will be done in their classrooms. Their lunch will be taken in their classrooms, so they won't be visiting the dining hall, and everything that they do through their education will be done in the classroom. In secondary, a bubble means that they will be contained within their classrooms, but also within their year groups. So they will maintain their learning in their classrooms, but they will go out at play as a bubble, and they will also be able to move around the building as a bubble. Only the children in years 10 and 11 will use the dining room to have their lunch. All the children in years 7, 8 and 9, they will have their lunch in their classrooms. The water fountains around the schools have been stood down so that they are not in use, as we do everything that we can to ensure that we minimise the risk of the infection being transmitted. And so we ask that your children come to school with a water bottle and enough so that they can get to be hydrated throughout the school day. So you will see a clip or a picture of the classrooms, and the teachers have organised classrooms in line with the guidance to ensure that children are facing forward, that no children are sitting on side with each other. And again, that is designed to ensure that as far as possible we are reducing the spread of any virus or spread of anything that could cause an infection to each other. As the children come into the building, the teachers will be very clear with them about their expectations to be responsible, expectations to be safe, their expectations to be sensible, and their expectations around how children can be kind with each other. We know that this is a very difficult circumstance. We know that we have to make sure that these guidelines are in place, but we also know that this is the best place for children to be, and children have been out of school for far too long, and we know that this is the best place for them to grow and to learn. We all have a responsibility to each other, and we all have a responsibility to keep each other safe and to ensure that this environment is a safe and a happy environment. So parents, I ask that you read all of the information that comes out to you. A risk assessment will also be sent to you that will detail much more of what I have said and give you much more detail around that. Please do read that, share that information with your child so that you are fully informed as to what the school day will look like when your children start to arrive at the beginning of next week. We hope that we have a wonderful half term. We are reliant upon your support to make that a success, and we ask that you do all that you can to follow the instructions and the guidance that we are given. No parents will be allowed on site in the morning unless your child is in the reception, nursery or year 1. But parents will clearly be allowed on site to collect their children at the end of the school day. We ask that you do so safely and that you do so swiftly. I would advise that you wear a face mask or a face covering when you're coming to do so. In terms of face coverings, new guidance has been published very recently by Public Health England and by the local authority. And what children will see when they come into school is that members of staff will be wearing face coverings in the classrooms and when they are moving around in the corridors in secondary phase, because teachers will be teaching outside of what we call their bubble. They will be engaged with quite a few children and quite a few adults. So to keep them safe, members of staff have been given the option to wear a face covering should they wish. In the primary phase, teachers, again in line with the guidance, have been given permission to wear a face covering if they so wish. But of course, we know that children need to see teachers' faces when they are teaching, and teachers are very aware of that. In terms of pupils wearing face masks, the guidance is very clear that there is no benefit to children wearing a face mask if they are in the primary phase. And so we ask that no children in the primary phase wear face masks when they are on site. In the secondary phase, there is evidence that suggests that there may well be a benefit for children who are 11 and upwards to wear a face mask when they are unable to maintain a 1 metre distance from their peers. And so we are going to ask that secondary school children, should they wish, wear a face mask when they are moving around on the corridors, but they will not be able to wear them when they are in the classroom or when they are in social settings outside, i.e. when they are at lunch or at break. So please do read the risk assessment so for some further information on face coverings, and please do help us to ensure that children are wearing appropriate face coverings, no labels on the front, no branding, and that they are plain in colour. I wish you all a very successful and happy half term. I appreciate that there will be many anxieties, but I do know that we've done all that we can to ensure that when we receive our pupils, that they will be happy to be back, and that they will see that their environment has changed just a little bit, but nonetheless we will be here doing our best to help them in their educational journey. Parents, do feel free to contact us through the emails and the mechanisms that have been put in place. Please avoid coming up to school as we aim to protect all our members of staff from engaging face to face with the public. If you do need us, please telephone us and email us, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you for your assistance, thank you for your time, and we will always endeavour to communicate with you as much as possible. And I wish you all a very happy and safe and wonderful educational and academic half term.